move to public portion. We have two speakers. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. First speaker is Terry Maccarrone from the AME. Good morning, Terry. Just bear with us 1 minute because, oh, you do have it. All right, the floor is yours, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, honorable legislators. Hope all is well. Just wanted to stop in, say hello, give you guys an update. Contract negotiations are still ongoing, as I'm sure you're well aware. A little slower than we would like, but still moving forward, progressing. But as this goes on, the county continues to experience recruitment and retention problems, as I'm sure that you're aware. And at the same time, we also continue to lose staff to neighboring municipalities because of the disparities in pay. Just for instance, from 2010, we had approximately just under 7,000 members, and as of today, we're just under 5,400. So there's a pretty big loss of membership there. Yet we don't have any less roads, we don't have any less fewer buildings. So it really goes to operational. You know, we're hemorrhaging staff every day. I get a message, a telephone call, an email from a member who talks about how they're struggling to make ends meet, how they're struggling to pay their bills. Inflation's going up. The war is not helping. Since 2001 to today, when you compare AME raises to the CPI, to the guide of inflation, we've lost approximately 20% of buying power, strictly in that alone. We have a member here today that's going to speak about his personal struggles and how difficult it is for him to make it. So I just wanted to make sure you bring these things to your attention, that you know we do realize that the legislature and the administration are supportive of AME, and they're working towards getting us good salaries that are going to be significant raises that will bring us into parity, but it's a struggle. And the members are definitely hurting. Their voices are being heard by us. We want to make sure that you are aware of this.
Thank you for that. Does anyone have any questions? I just very quickly, and obviously, you know, the numbers are down, and I understand that a lot of that is attributed to the retention. But what about retirement? How does that affect your numbers? And I know, you know, obviously you need to replace your retirees, and not all the time in every department, obviously, because there are some streamlining things that can be done to reduce some staff. But if you can give us a snapshot of what that may look like.
I don't have those numbers handy, but certainly retirements are cyclical. All right, people tend to be hired in waves. All right, and I do believe that over the course of the next 4 or 5 years, you're going to see a wave of retirements coming through. Tier 4s, I happen to be a Tier 4. We're starting to come towards the end of our career paths. And I think that between 2025 and 2030, you're going to see a large portion of our staff, AME members especially, leaving. And right now, you probably have a fairly sufficient number of mid-management level employees that can step into some of those senior roles, but we are not bringing in the new staff, the new hires. We're not retaining people on those lower ends to move into that middle management. So what's going to happen in 5 or 10 years? One of the things that I had mentioned during conversations with various legislators and elected officials are we tend to look at things in small snapshots, 2 and 4 year increments, because quite frankly, those are the lengths of terms that everyone serves for. We really need to look at strategy. We need to look in 10, 15, and 20-year increments of how we need to plan for staffing needs. So that's something that I would hope that the legislature and the administration can work towards, getting into those longer visions of where we need to be and planning for succession. Who's going to be your next park superintendent or supervisor? Who's going to be your next maintenance mechanic 4? Or who's going to be your next division head? We need to look at those things so that we know who's moving up the ladder in the chain of command.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful. So obviously, from what you just said about the wave of retirements, this situation is not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And so it is something that I hope we can address in these negotiations, so.
Agreed. I would hope so. If we can get, good salaries, we can bring in good people. And that's just as important. It's not just bodies. It's not just quantity. It's quality. You want to have people that you want to retain.
Thank you. Anyone else? Legislator Richburg?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Mr. President. So I know you hate that, so it's, do you have a list of the proposed or possible folks who are ready to retire, especially
I don't personally handy. I can probably try and find that for you.
because even you don't have to have the names, but just, about how many folks we're looking at, because I think that's an important thing for us to look forward to, especially when we're looking at hiring and positions that we need to start, focusing on.
I'd be happy to look into it internally with our staff at AME to try and find out where our membership is in regard to their career paths and get that information to the legislature.
That'd be great. Thank you very much. I'm sure all of us would like that information.
Happy to comply.
Thank you, Legislator Richburg. Legislator Bergen?
Good morning. Thanks for being here with us today. Can you tell me, department by department, are you having any issues or any problems with staffing levels currently or under any particular title that we should be aware of?
So I think if you spoke to the DPW commissioner, you would know that you would probably hear him say, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but you would probably hear him say that they're having difficulties. Sewage treatment plant operators, who they hate that terminology, but they are integral to the operation of the county, and it's very difficult, especially when you compare their salaries to neighboring municipalities. So they have CDL drivers. I once had a gentleman who trains the CDL drivers for us at one of the locations say to me, Terry, they come in, they spend 12, 15 weeks with us, they get their CDL, they get licensed, they spend a couple more weeks, and then they leave. We become the training ground. So DPW is definitely one that I would target. There are others where you see a lot of cycling where maybe somebody doesn't make it through provisionally and whatnot. Like, they're very difficult departments to work in, very high pressure areas like DSS, where you may have a lot of turnover. DPW is the one that really sticks to my mind.
Okay, and when you bring up DSS, we're doing okay with caseworker, number of caseworkers now?
I think that their caseload's still a bit heavy. Again, I can get those numbers for you if you'd like.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, thank you so much for coming in today, Terry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Next speaker is Kevin